give it 1 minute. All right, it's 7:05. We'll call this meeting to order. A few items on the agenda for tonight. First item, let's get the business stuff out of the way. So last meeting we had the issue of dealing with the poll license under RSA 7223, dealing with the town doing the assessment for polls. I will make a motion to accept the notice and sign the notice for the poll assessment in town under RSA 7223. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. It's the 18th. Sign that. Great. Last meeting, we discussed, we have received 2 bids for services for auditing. One from Plodzik and Sanderson, the other from our current auditor at Melanson. Hopefully you've had a chance to go over the bids. Any questions, comments, concerns you have about the bids that we have received?
No, I don't think so.
Do you have a preference on either of the bids?
If I'm reading their quotes right, Plastic, is that how you pronounce it?
Yep.
They were about $5,000 or $6,000 cheaper.
Correct. Not only for that audit, but if we have to do a federal audit, they're only at $2,200 versus $4,000 for Melanson.
So that would be my preference.
Yeah, I'm familiar with both these firms. I think both of them will do a fine job for us. Obviously, Plodsik's coming in at a much lower level, so I'll make a motion that we accept the bid for Plodzik and Sanderson to provide auditing services for the town.
Second it?
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Audit bids. Again, let's clear up business stuff first. We have minutes for both or I should say three sets of minutes here. The December 21st to 2021 meeting. Any changes, edits, anything you want to address in there?
No, I could.
All right, I'll make a motion. We accept the December 21st minutes as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great. We also have the minutes from the last 2 meetings, the public meeting, including the non-public portion of that meeting, and then the budget hearing. Any changes you want to make to either of these?
I haven't had it.
Do you want to hold them over till next meeting?
Sure.
Oh, we can do that. That's not a problem. We'll hold them over. Great. So we approved the December 21st. We'll hold over the other ones till next. All right. The only other thing on the agenda is dealing with the mask mandate, which was raised at our last meeting. As the discussion went at the last meeting, the request was made to begin an ordinance process. Jackie provided a draft ordinance the next evening, which, as we agreed, the last meeting would count as the first reading of that ordinance. This would now be the second reading of that ordinance. How do you want to proceed on this, Jackie, given your correspondence earlier?
So, after speaking with Bobby Kelly and Chief Young, I think the more appropriate thing to do would be to have a recommendation made by the select board that masks be worn during public meetings through election day. And that was my suggestion.
Okay. The question I had was, you referenced RSA 4111, which, by my reading of 4111, deals with highways and roads. It's a highways and roads issue. Regulation of use of highways.
No, regulation of use of public buildings.
4111 says regulation of use in highways unless regulated by the Commission of the Department of Transportation as provided in RSA 236(1). The selectmen may regulate the use of all public highways, sidewalks, and commons in their respective towns, and for this purpose may exercise all the powers conferred on city councils by RSA 4717, sections 7, 8, and 18, and by any other provisions of the law upon the subject.
So RSA 41 does regulate public buildings.
Are you referring to 4111A? Because 4111A deals with town property, but it, for the most part, and I'll read it, this really has to do with managing real property. Selectmen shall have the authority to manage all real property owned by the town and to regulate its use unless such management and regulation is delegated to other public officers by a vote of the town, or is governed by other statutes, including but not limited to RSA 31112, 35B, 36A4, and 202A6. The authority under paragraph 1 shall include the power to rent or lease such property during periods not needed for public use, provided, however, that any rental or lease agreement for a period of more than 1 year shall not be valid unless ratified by a vote of the town. Notwithstanding paragraph 2, the legislative body may vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to rent or lease municipal property for the term of up to 5 years without further vote. To me, this says that this is dealing with renting or leasing. It's specified in paragraph 2. It's the authority under paragraph 1 shall include the power to rent or lease. This to me sounds like the power provided, or the authority provided to the selectmen, is to determine if someone can utilize this building for a dance, or utilize the park for an event, or the library for a presentation. I'm not sure where you're reading into this, that we are authorized to do a mask mandate, especially where it's going to conflict with 91A, and I would argue Article 8 of the state constitution.
Michael, I said that I was rescinding the request for an ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
However, I read 6 or 7 different mask mandates in the state of New Hampshire,
Mm-hmm.
and RSA 4111A was cited in all of them because it states that we have the authority to regulate public buildings where the town offices and the town buildings are.
Okay.
This is a town building.
So I want to make clear that you believe the authorization is coming from 4111A, and that gives us the ability then to basically, in my opinion, eviscerate 91A, which guarantees public access doesn't have any exceptions to it, public access to all public meetings, and Article 8 of the state constitution, which I'll read the relevant language here. All power residing originally in and being derived from the people, all the magistrates and officers of government are their substitutes and agents, and at all times accountable to them. Government, therefore, should be open, accessible, accountable, and responsive. To that end, the public's right of access to government proceedings and records shall not be unreasonably restricted. Key words in there being unreasonably restricted, which carries a huge burden for anyone who's actually going to restrict access to, and certainly people's ability to vote either in the deliberative session or in town elections. I don't think this is a stretch at all. I think that if you want to create a restriction on people's access to public meetings, to access to vote, which are in direct violation of 91A and this Article 8 of the state constitution, you are required to have a burden of proof that I don't think has been met here in terms of justifying impinging on their rights. The most basic right of any citizen is to have access to open government and to be able to vote as they see fit. I don't believe, and I think the town will be at legal risk if it moves forward with the way that you are suggesting we should move forward.
And which way is that? With the ordinance?
Either way, to be perfectly honest. Look, you can cite as many towns as you want. I have no idea if they were ever challenged about this, whether questions were raised, and I'm pretty sure we haven't even run this by our legal counsel. Have you addressed our legal counsel with respect to whether this is going to be in violation or possibly contested under the grounds, certainly the grounds I have. I mean, I have other ordinances I think that this violates, but these are the two most egregious.
I still don't understand what rights are violated by asking people to keep their community safe.
I'm sorry.
How that restricts access.
Our state constitution, our federal constitution indicates that the rights are inherent to the individuals themselves. It is not my will or your will that being imposed on an individual creates a right. They have those rights inherently. And us enacting an ordinance or enacting a rule, if it infringes on those rights, as our state constitution says, it shouldn't be unreasonable when you go to restrict those rights. I think the burden of proof is on those who want to propose a rule.
You know what? You win. You win.
This is not about winning or losing.
It is right now.
In your mind, maybe it is. In my mind, this is about the rights of the people in this town to have access to open government, to have access to their elections and to the deliberative session as they see fit.
All right, you're right.
Are you withdrawing your motion?
I already said that I was.
Okay.
You made this whole big thing about something that I said I was withdrawing.
I want to be clear here.
Be clear about what?
That you're withdrawing the motion.
But what was all of this before? Because I had already said to you.
No, you said you wanted to withdraw the ordinance,
Right.
but you wanted to basically make a motion to have us enact the policy. And my point is, whether it's a policy that we enact or whether it's an ordinance before the town, I think both of them run into grave legal risk, given the language of the statutes and our state constitution that guarantees people open access that should not be unreasonably restricted. That was the point I'm making here. Simple, plain. Yes?
I would like to ask that you clarify how wearing a mask restricts access. If I'm sitting here, I'm wearing a mask, I can hear everything you're saying, I don't have any trouble following that. I would like to point out that this pandemic has killed a lot of people in this country. I don't know if this mask is protecting any of you, but if there's even a small percentage chance that it is, I believe it's worth it. I have a sister in an assisted living. Many of the people in that assisted living facility died. So if there's a small chance that wearing this mask is going to protect myself or anyone else, and this is currently the recommendation of the scientists in this country, if you want to disregard all of that and put all of us at risk, I don't understand your point that this restricts our access. We're not restricted.
Again, you're talking about putting a rule in place that if somebody comes in here to vote on election day, they don't want to wear a mask. Under this ordinance, we're going to deny them access to this building. That's what you're saying.
Right now, she's changed it to a recommendation to make it clear that we've taken these things seriously.
We can post a recommendation. I don't have a problem with posting a recommendation. What she was requiring before is a requirement for if you want to attend a meeting, if you want to participate in deliberative session, if you want to participate on election day, we would require you to have a mask. That's a restriction. And in my opinion, one that is fraught with legal danger given what is the inherent rights listed in both our RSAs and in our state constitution. You want to have a sign out there saying we recommend masks? I don't care. I honestly don't care. You want to impose a mandate on individual behavior to participate in our meetings and our elections? Yeah, I have a problem with that. Bobby.
I just want to thank you both for being here. Michael, I think your point is very clearly stated. I also do think that I'm glad to hear that you have no problem with posting a recommendation, because I think, as I understand it, that is what is currently being asked. I may have misunderstood what Jackie's secondary proposal was, but at the very least, if we can't come to a recommendation, posting a recommendation tonight, I would like to potentially be the person who writes that recommendation and post it in the foyer of the building here at South Mountain. But I just was looking for clarity. How do you see, again, I don't really, to be respectful, I don't really want to hear your rationale for why the mandate is not constitutional, because I have very clearly heard it. You can repeat yourself if you want, but
No.
I would like to know how we can go about posting a recommendation of that sort in our building.
You want to post a recommendation on the door town hall? Have at it.
Well, to be, again, once again, to be respectful and fair, I would actually prefer that it be something that is not dismissed as something that doesn't seem important, but as something that perhaps is a reasonable thing to post.
Look, when it comes to the deliberative session and the elections, the authority for that is actually with the town moderator. You
I understand.
have a conversation with John Hayden.
Yeah.
He regulates those aspects of both deliberative session and elections.
Right, and John and I worked pretty closely last year, and he was very responsive, respectful to me and my recommendations. And my
No,
comments.
I find John a very reasonable man on pretty much every issue.
And I think, so I will talk to John about if that sign or whatever you're talking about say during those two sessions, but in terms of the building and just having, we just had an event here on Monday. I asked for permission to use it. We changed the thermostat here. I asked Chief. I think he had your tacit permission to do so. So those are the things I wanted to know. The best way to post a sign with that recommendation.
Look, I would recommend have a conversation with Sue downstairs about what you might want to post, circulate it amongst the select board. We'll have a discussion about it.
And just to be extremely clear, because it hasn't been clear to me in the past, does that have to happen at a public session, or can I email and or talk to you all in between now and?
I think in a public session where we're certainly discussing the fact that, if you want to post a recommendation sign, shouldn't be a problem. The exact nature of that, I don't think we have to have that gone through a formal meeting. I doubt anybody in the general public. Look, if somebody in the general public wants to contest that, they can contest it, and then we'll have a public meeting about it. But my guess is that we can formalize that outside of this meeting, recognizing that that's what we've discussed.
Thank you. I also want to finally just point out, this is the fullest this room has been in a while, and I wish that people would feel as engaged in the day-to-day operations that the board and many folks do. Please keep coming to these meetings. If you can't come in person, stream it at least online, because it is very informative. I learned a lot about our town going on. I met a lot of people from these meetings as well, so thank you.
Any other comments from the general public?
So I would like to make a motion. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just comment, I'm in the education system. I'm not wearing a mask right now. Can I tell you how wonderful that is? When you talk about, requesting a mask or having people wearing a mask, I think it should be an optional thing. Yes, post it if you will, but what would be the next step? Can you show me proof that you had your COVID vaccinations too? I mean, how far would this be pushed? I'm so over it.
Ma'am, I cannot explain to you
And
how
I'm Bruce.
overt I am as well. But I don't know if you're engaging me directly or not, but I have no recommendation for doing such a thing. But we can talk outside after this meeting if you'd like to. I'm your health officer if you live in town, so.
Any other comments from the general public, questions, concerns? No? Any other business that needs to be raised?
I did just want to say, I don't know if you realize our town was on the news. I don't watch the news, but we were, the decisions of the select board regarding purchasing tests was not only applauded, but also noted that many neighboring towns have asked how we did what we did. I had actually a legislator from Newmarket come and ask if we can give her a test. I said no, politely, because it was our allocation for the town, but I had suggested that she talk to her town officials, potentially do something similar. So I just wanted to share that, thank the board again. And every day I have many folks in town thanking us and thanking you.
All right, with that, we are adjourned.
I would like to make a motion to have the town health officer write a recommendation. Is that what you're thinking for for masks? You were going to draft a recommendation to have posted in the building, is that correct?
We're talking about posters that make a recommendation.
That's what I said.
Okay. And again, my assumption here is that you'll run this by the board before it's posted. You talk to Sue and you talk to John Hayden about it.
If it's not an official select board item and it's just a recommendation,
I'm happy to do so. I am very happy to communicate what my thoughts are to you all before I get. There's no reason not to, in my opinion. So.
Yep.
And again, I don't think that we won't be able to do this in time like that. All right? We're good?
Yes.
All right? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Michael, is the third reading of the matter that being canceled or will that get communicated?
Yeah, it's been withdrawn. We do have a scheduled select board meeting. Very good.
I do have to pick up my daughter from basketball, but I don't think I got your name, sorry. I'm Bobby.
My name is Georgia Marshall.
Johnny
You
Georgia.
are?
I'm Bobby Kelly. I'm the town health officer.
Can you do this?
And so if you live in town, I'll let you
15 years.
Thank you. I'm not sure why you're so.
I'm on the western end.
Who Western? Bobby Kelly.
I see you around.
I hope that's okay.
You're everywhere.
Very direct.
I loved your
My concerns about what
skeletons again this year. I thought it was very cool. Was this the Olympics this year?
What's that?
Was the Olympics this year or was that last year?
Last year was Olympics.
No, I'm actually trying to clarify in case your reference was with respect to something else. I'm sorry, it was a personal. I just wanted to direct you to say that you referenced the email. What's that? I'm sorry. Great. I was going to direct you to the RSA that you referenced the email. And then I referenced that.
I'm working the afternoon.
A lot of I bet they haven't done any of it. Potential violations of 91. Potential problem
High school. Oh, so that's not, my daughter's a teacher. Special education.
I would, so you'll see our daughter there every day.
She's very close to the
Oh, really? Okay. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. Nice to meet you, sir. That's awesome. Take care.
What's happening?